Welcome to He's Heating Up, where I bring you odd news, funny and otherwise, as well as a common sense take on current events, because in my view, common sense should be contagious. Today, I want to talk a little bit about Transportation Secretary Elaine Chao, and most of you won't know her name and probably don't realize that she's married to Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. That's going to be pretty important today. As you've all seen, corruption and disrespect of the rule of law is something that runs rampant in Donald Trump's administration, and Elaine Chao is no different than anyone else in that cabinet as far as this is concerned. She used to be on the board for a company called Vulcan Materials, and Vulcan Materials is a major player in the transportation space as far as construction is concerned, so they hold a lot of government contracts. When she took the job as Transportation Secretary, Mrs. Chao, or Ms. McConnell, Elaine Chao, was supposed to, and she signed papers that said, hey, I will divest myself of this company. They're going to pay me in cash, and I will no longer hold a stake in this company while I'm actually working for the American people. And naturally, that didn't happen. It turns out that she still owns a stock, hasn't yet got, they actually, instead of giving her cash basically for her interest in the company, they gave her stock. So now she's still profiting $40,000 worth this past year from that particular company. And the reason that's a problem is because as Transportation Secretary, she gets to decide where the American people spend their money. And if she's directly profiting from something like Donald Trump is with his hotels to some degree, then that pretty much is a conflict of interest. And what you'll find here when you're looking this up is nobody's really mentioning that she's actually married to Mitch McConnell. This is something that certainly should be looked into right away. I can't see a scenario where this is good for the American people. And this has quite frankly been a pattern of behavior from people in the Trump administration, from Scott Pruitt, who was, of course, like everyone else in the administration, hopping planes everywhere, using his staff to help his wife get a job, to Donald Trump, who still has all of his interests tied up in all of his many businesses and still has not put those into a blind trust. Instead, he put his children in charge. Really, your children? So you don't know what's going on. Your child is not coming and letting you know, hey, this is going on. I need advice on this, or how would you do this, or what have you. Should we put money here, take money from there? Steve Mnuchin, who is in charge of the money for the country here, the same man who's decided we're not going to put Harriet Tubman on the $20 bill in the coming months as we were supposed to. It turns out he sold some of his interest in his company to his wife instead of divesting from it. This is not normal. Every so often you end up with not every so often, every year, you have politicians on both sides of the aisle who are quite frankly cheating the American people. With this administration, it's not some. It's damn near all at this point. I can't think of anybody clean at all. I mean, if you think about Kellyanne Conway with her many run-ins with the Hatch Act, what exactly does Ivanka Trump do? Why would she need security clearance? What exactly is Jared Kushner qualified for? So the nepotism, the not divesting from property and businesses. This is a problem, and we need to be aware of this. So I want you to, in the coming days, I mean, no matter what side of the fight that you're on, no matter what side of the aisle that you're on, in the coming days, just do a little bit of research and don't go to Fox News, don't go to CNN, don't go to MSNBC, don't go to any of those places for this. Go on the internet and just look for yourself and see the numerous different ways. I mean, for instance, this video right here, just go ahead and Google Elaine Chao, and I bet you it pops up, and read for yourself and see, and then understand that when they're working for someone else, they're not working for you. It's just that simple. You want a great example of that? When Special Counsel Robert Mueller, when he was talking about why he couldn't bring charges against the President of the United States, he mentioned quite honestly that he worked for. And if you remember, he said, I'm resigning from my position of special counsel from the Department of Justice. He worked for the Department of Justice, which meant that, yeah, that little memo, which shouldn't be a big deal. It's a memo saying, hey, a sitting president can't be indicted. He's held to that because that's his employer. So while I can say that memo's not a big deal, Robert Mueller can't say that because that's his employer. So the person that pays you is the person that you're beholden to. Elaine Chao made $40,000 from this company last year, which may not be an insane amount of money to her, but it's enough that she didn't divest herself of those stocks and that she took stocks instead of straight cash, because that's going to be on repeat year after year. Who do you think Elaine Chao actually works for? And now who's actually going to hold her accountable? Do you think her husband, Mitch McConnell, is going to be the one to hold her accountable? He's the head of the Senate right now. Just some things to think about. Thanks for stopping by. Share the video if you can. He's heating up.